I'm Jason McIntyre. We're recapping football picks. Another winning weekend in the NFL. College football, not so much. Let's get to it. The Atlanta Falcons were getting 2 points at home. I've got to take the Falcons anytime they're home underdogs, especially in an opener. They were 10-1 against the spread in home openers. And Matt Ryan, of course, the great numbers at home last year, and he was just okay. And yet the Falcons still won. Matty Ice, 3 interceptions, blew a 17-6 lead, but was able to come back, get the victory and the cover with a late touchdown. I don't feel great about the Falcons here. This felt like a coin flip game, and it went my way. Falcons covered 2 points at home. Rams were favored by 2.5 at home against the Saints in the NFC Championship game rematch. We were all over the Rams in this spot. 2 big factors stood out. Drew Brees' struggles on the road. That kind of came true, except he went down with an injury. And of course, Jared Goff, totally different quarterback at home. He was lights out. 283 yards passing, a touchdown, looked good throughout, and the Rams were able to cover 2.5 easily, beating the injury-ridden New Orleans Saints. The Indianapolis Colts were 3.5-point underdogs on the road. You know I love the Colts this season. If you've been watching all these videos, I'm a big fan of that roster, and I like them in this spot against a team that's overvalued. The Titans are just not a very good football team. Folks, the Colts turned the ball over twice. They missed 2 extra points, and they still won on the road outright and covered 3.5. I'm going to continue backing the Colts going forward. My perfect day in the NFL ruined by picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were 4.5-point favorites against the Seahawks, and I diagnosed this game all wrong, folks. I thought the Steelers would bounce back after that ugly loss to the Patriots. That didn't happen. Ben Roethlisberger in the offense, they can't move the football. I was a believer in James Conner. He's hurt. He can't run the football. The Steelers are anemic offensively, and defensively, Russell Wilson carved them up. And finally, the Green Bay Packers came through. That's 2 weeks in a row for me, folks. Packers 3-point favorites against the Vikings. I told you, I love this team's defense. I like the Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur combo, and they delivered. They jumped to a 21-0 lead before holding on. I need to send Kirk Cousins a bouquet of flowers for throwing 2 awful interceptions so the Packers could cover for me. Folks, the Green Bay Packers, they are going to be an NFC contender, as we said earlier this season. You want to get on board the Green Bay Packers bandwagon. They covered 3 at home against the Vikings. Let's start with Alabama, 25-point favorites. Folks, I love them in this spot. Nick Saban against a true freshman quarterback, come on, that's a gimme. And of course, Alabama dominated the entire game and then gave up a backdoor cover, a touchdown in the final 10 seconds that broke my heart. Alabama did not cover 25 points. UCF was an easy winner, covering 7.5 against Stanford. I really like the Knights a lot this year, and they proved me right, jumping to a 14-0 lead and cruising to victory. Freshman quarterback Dillon Gabriel, keep an eye on him. I'm going to be backing UCF a lot going forward. Tough loss number 2, the Maryland Terrapins, favored by 7 in Temple, and I like them in this spot. I thought the offense would deliver, and they largely did, except in the red zone and on 4th down. Maryland went 1 for 6 on 4th down. You're not going to get the victory that way, and you're definitely not covering if you get stuck on 4th and 1 at the goal line twice. Tough loss for Maryland. They didn't cover against Temple, and they lost outright 20-17. Talk about a bad pick. Indiana getting 16.5 at home. I thought they could be competitive with Ohio State. The last few years, they've been able to cover the number, especially at home. That was not the case Saturday. This game was over at halftime. Indiana's a strong team in the Big Ten, but Ohio State is elite. Ohio State won 51-10. Indiana did not come close to covering. Clemson with a great cover late Saturday night at Syracuse. I told you guys, Clemson's going to crush people this year. They were up 28 in the final minutes. I was looking at a push, and then all of a sudden, a 57-yard touchdown run gets Clemson the cover. I know they're posting big numbers. They're going to be 4 and 5 touchdown favorites this year, but this Clemson offense can deliver, and they did for me late Saturday night to cover 28 points at Syracuse. North Carolina served me well last week. Unfortunately, they did not deliver. I really like this team offensively. They are a comeback team. They've been great in second halves this year, and they were again Friday night against Wake. Coming back from down 21-0, they pulled within the number at 21-18, and then gave up a field goal with 1 minute left to blow the cover. I still like UNC this season, but they couldn't cover for me at Wake Forest. So we're now up to 7-3 in the NFL. Promising start. A word of caution, quarterbacks are dropping left and right. Be careful before you make any plays this week. In college, I've got to do better. That's the bottom line. Fortunately, there are some great games on the schedule this weekend. It's early, but I'm looking at Wisconsin, Utah, and yes, Notre Dame will have the picks later this week.